Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So today, I'm gonna play video games, mainly because I need to get creative. And so if that sounds weird, well, it's kind of the weird thing about being a content creator because you're gonna have to create content. And one of the best ways to do that, in my opinion, is to just play video games. I mean, so this episode's not really gonna be anything planned. It's basically just me having fun playing video games, rambling, and hopefully after I do this I'll come up with like tons of great content for you to watch, or maybe not. I'll probably just play more hours of video games. So anyway, the reason why I normally use video games as a way to come up with ideas is because I guess for me video games has always been something that is a combination of having fun, of course, but also like, you know, working different parts of your brain. You know, it tests your reflexes. You're definitely sharper whenever you're playing video games because you obviously have to pay attention. And then also, I don't know, it just makes my mind more creative because you're playing something that is, you know, probably one of the most creative things you can do, and that's creating an entire video game. I mean, if you actually think about all the work that goes into developing a video game, that's probably some of the most creative people on the planet, you know, especially if it's like a very large game, you know. In this case, I'm playing a Neo Geo game. This is Shock Troopers 2. I really love this game. The first one was really good as well, so I don't really know which one I like better. And so this game is, you know, for Neo Geo, so it is, I guess, a tribute to an SNK game. And SNK were the people who originally made the Neo Geo. The original game they made, which is this top-down overhead shooter like this. It was a Card Warriors. Well, I guess you wouldn't call this a shooter. Anyway, so I really enjoy playing this game. And at least for me, the types of games that I like to play whenever I'm trying to be creative are games like this. You know, arcade games that are really mindless. I don't really have to think at all to play this. And the reason why I enjoy these arcade games because, well, they're my favorite types of games. You know, I used to love going to the arcades when I was a kid. You know, when they used to have arcades. You know, whether that would be at, you know, restaurants, gas stations, even laundromats. You know, if you're old enough to remember arcade machines at the laundromat, it was just awesome. I dropped so many quarters. And I'm so glad that we have emulators like this, because honestly, a lot of these games you probably wouldn't be able to play anymore. Oh geez, man, I love this game. Actually, I probably played this game so many times. Oh yeah. And the music in this game, wow, that's another thing. Depending upon the type of game you play, music plays a big part. And man, when I play something like this where it just hypes you up, even without drinking any type of caffeine, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I guess that's why people love video games so much. It's just so many stimulation going on. Oh yeah. And another awesome thing about, you know, having these arcade classics or just games at home like this, like I could spend as many quote-unquote quarters as I want, which is always fun. Oh man. You know, I've tried playing other types of games to like maybe get a different type of creativity. You know, I've tried like, you know, slow games like RPGs, and those never work. Because I don't know, it just doesn't really get my mind going like that. Because normally RPGs are not really fast paced. I guess that's what I want to say. I love playing RPGs, but it's one of those games that it's not really, at least for me, really conducive to you coming up with creative content. Other things definitely that help game-wise, I love playing fighting games. Those are always fun. You definitely don't have a moment to get bored there. And side-scrollers, yeah, depending on part of side-scrollers, those are pretty fun as well. I guess so basically, almost any game, as long as it's not a slower game or slower paced game. Let's just say that. Oh, man. Wow. Oh. And to be honest, some of my best ideas have come from you know, number one, being outside. That's where I get the most ideas. It was just complete opposite of this. You know, you're outside, it's really quiet, you're out in nature. Whereas you're playing video games, it's not going to be quiet because it's going to have all this visuals and audio, and at the same time, obviously, you're going to be indoors when you're playing this. I have tried, you know, playing games outdoors many times. I made a lot of videos playing it on my phone, but for some reason, it just didn't give me like the same effect as, you know, having it on mostly a big screen monitor or TV of some sort. Oh man. And you know, speaking of this game, going back to this game, even though the overall gameplay is repetitive, you know, you're just top down, just shooting people, destroying things, it doesn't get old. I mean, even if it's just like the same enemies over and over, I really don't care. Oh yeah. And here's another cool thing with playing these types of games. You're just like destroying stuff, you know? Like, you don't have to think about a strategy, and since you have unlimited quarters, even more so. I don't have to think at all. It just, wow, just keep playing this. Jeez. And the funny thing is, you know, coming up with creative ideas, I actually thought of the idea of shooting this episode about using video games for creativity when I was playing a video game. So that just goes to show you that it does help. Another thing that you might want to do whenever you are doing this, be sure to have something near you where you can write down. You know, like if you actually had a really great ideas, you could always like pause the game and then like, you know, just write down those ideas and then, you know, start, you know, go back to your game. You know, that's another cool thing. Oh man, wow, there's just craziness going on. Oh, you know, one thing I never understood was how, like, you know, content creators who do video game content, how they could stream a game and do the chats and play the game at the same time, especially for things like first-person shooters and stuff, or MMOs. Well, especially first-person shooters. I don't know how you do that. I mean, I have a hard time doing this right now. Just like a single player, there's no multiplayer. You know, I'm just playing a single-player game, and even that is difficult for me. But wow, my hat's off to those people who could live stream and do all of that stuff. And wow, jeez. So no wonder they're so creative, because they could multitask really well. And another great thing I like about this game, Shock Troopers, it came out like 1998, and the graphics here, they're just awesome. I mean, the Neo Geo just had superb graphics. But what I really like about it, it's a mixture of pre-rendered and looks like hand-drawn, so it's like traditional and pre-rendered. And most pre-rendered video games back then just look horrible, but this one looks really great. Ow, ow, whoa, look at that. Yeah. You know what, I guess I can count this as a shooter, because it definitely has shooter elements. Shooting and then your bomb. Whoa. Another cool thing with this game is the characters are actually different, you know? They're not just simple color swaps. Oh yeah. What other things can I say about being creative while you're playing video games? Whoa. Oh. Another thing is, like, sometimes as I'm playing this, I actually come up with like ideas for thumbnails too. You know, weird enough. I guess it's because there's so much visual stuff here. It's kind of crazy. Now, at least what I like to do is, of course, I like to have a notebook nearby. But sometimes what I'll do, if I really have a lot of great ideas while I'm playing, I will pause the game and I have a spreadsheet, and I just like put down all my ideas. Because eventually what I do is, even if I write it down in a notebook, I'm actually gonna put it on a spreadsheet later on. Man. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. I don't know any video game creators, but that's one thing that I really would love to do, is interview somebody who is actually a video game creator, whether they do the programming, especially the design, because, you know, the graphical assets, because that's actually what we see. I would really love to see how that's done, the writers, the musicians. There's so many things that goes into a video game. So who knows? Maybe that's another idea in the future. I'll probably try to get a hold of a video game creator, YouTube content creator, and see what that process is like. 'Cause that's something that I've always been interested in ever since I was a kid. You know, just playing video games, but I've never created a game myself. Besides really, you know, simple games that anybody could do. But oh yeah, but like actually getting to meet these people who create this, that's got to be so awesome. Whoa, man, this enemy is pretty sweet. That's another thing. Wow, that like this enemy designs are so creative. Like how do you keep that fresh? Oh yeah, let's do this. Oh, and you know, if you yourself are a video game content creator, you know, what are your thoughts on this? You know, like of being creative while you're playing video games. Do you get ideas while you're doing this? You know, or is it something else? You know? Oh man. And this always gets me interested as well. And like, you know, since as a content creator, you probably can identify and relate with other content creators because they're going through the same thing that you are in terms of like coming up with the ideas, you know, making it interesting, you know, and all of those things. So in a lot of ways, I think the whole process of creating whatever it is, whether it's on YouTube, video games, movies, writing, all of those things have very similar properties, in my opinion. Obviously, there's different levels of that. Wow, it just made me think. Maybe I should also like try to interview creators in other genres. You know, like authors and stuff like that. That'd be cool too. Wow. So if you're watching this, I wonder how, you know, you yourself are creative. You know. Oh man, that's always interesting. Oh. And I would definitely say, at least for me, the whole creative process, it is different when you're starting out versus, you know, when you've had a lot more experience with this. I mean, the basic principles are the same, but just the way in which your mind works, it just really changes a lot. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but before I started creating on YouTube, I never thought myself as a creative person. Nobody ever thought myself as a creative person as well. And you know, after doing YouTube for, you know, more than 4 or 5 years now, and after having created more than 1,000+ videos, my mind is just so different. You know, like basically now I don't really have to think too much about being creative. It's just something I kind of naturally do in a way. It becomes habit. Let's just say that. Maybe it's not natural. Like for example, if there's anything that I'm gonna do, I always think like, no, how can I create something with this? And that's something that never happened before. Like for example, if I'm like this case right here, I'm gonna play a video game anyway, right? Like if I'm gonna play games, I'm gonna play it anyway. So like, how can I create some content out of that? You know, how can I get an ROI out of this? You know, and that same thing goes whenever, you know, I'm thinking of going somewhere, or if I'm watching movies, you know, I have a movie channel as well. I'm always thinking that way. If I'm outside, can I create content with this? I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I think that's how like most creators who do this a lot, that's how their mind thinks. It's like, how can I create something out of this? And then you're thinking about it from a business point of view, as like I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, how can I get an ROI on this? One of the best examples is whenever I'm doing like reviews of gear, software, I'm always thinking like, okay, if I bought this product, like say for example, you know, I did a videos on my Samsung Galaxy tablet. It cost me like $150, right? So, you know, when I bought it, I was thinking, okay, it wasn't planned for me to buy it for this, but after I bought it, it's like, okay, it cost me $150. So how can I get an ROI on this by creating content, you know? And that has really helped me out a lot because, you know, I don't feel as bad whenever I buy something because there's a way for me to, you know, not only have fun creating the content, getting an ROI, but at the same time, it also helps other people, you know, like if somebody's looking for a review of this product, you know, it's going to help them out, you know, so it's like a win-win-win. And that's what I really love about this entire creative process. You know, you could do the stuff you enjoy, you can help people, and you could, you know, make money on it all at the same time. It's kind of crazy. Oh, whoa. Wow, this stage is, oh, that's another thing. I like how these stages are so varied. Boom. All right, blow up. Oh man, so hopefully I'll come to the boss here pretty soon or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's cool. All right, take this. Oh man, maybe I should try another live stream playing a game. It's been a while since I tried that. Boy, it's really hard for me. I just couldn't do it. You know, it'd be hard for me to like pay attention to the game, chatting with people. Even if there's very few people, which there normally is, it's still hard for me. You know, like maybe like 5 people or something, it's already difficult for me to pay attention. So I can't imagine those very large gaming channels, or if you're on Twitch where you have like, you know, thousands of people watching you live. That's kind of nuts. Whoa, come on. That's really cool how he headsbutts the ground, then things explode. Well, that looks like it's it for this episode. I think I got some ideas while playing this game. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, whether you are a creator who uses creative ways to come up with ideas like this, or maybe there's some other things that you use to come up with content, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my YouTube tutorials and tips, I do have an entire playlist, and I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.